Watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
Through our tears, let us know the blessings of knowing and loving you, a great and noble man, the best father a son or daughter could have.
Heart-filled words from loved ones today, the final memorial and burial for a former commander-in-chief in the city he called home for years.
And an urgent search over the Pacific. Rescue crews overseas rushed to try to find 5 missing U.S. Marines. Word this morning of 1 survivor.
Plus, what we know so far about the fire that broke out at a produce market in Sarasota. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. And good morning. It is cold out there this morning. Wind chill's a factor.
It certainly is. I have goosebumps right now. I don't know if it's from listening to the former President Bush or if it's from the weather.
That's a good point. Unfortunately, it could be both today. Let's get to the forecast now from John Scalzi.
Yeah, wind chills out there a little bit on the cold side by Florida standards, coming in the low 40s, even some upper 30s. And north of us, just north of us, could even touch the freezing mark up near Gainesville and Jacksonville. Along I-10. For us, we're going to be seeing a warm-up that starts this afternoon, but for the morning hours, certainly you should bundle up. 44 degrees in Sarasota, 42 in Bradenton, 41 in Parrish. Top it out today, well, probably close to the 70-degree mark, so a little bit warmer. We'll talk about the forecast in just a minute.
All right, it's a deal, 6:01 right now. Checking first alert traffic, little blip there on 14th Street West as you progress north away from Bayshore Gardens. Otherwise, nothing too bad right now in Manatee County. Another issue there to talk to you about on 41 southbound as you go from 301 all the way down toward Weber and Siesta Drive. And then our final map of the south showing clear right now at 6:01 on this cold Thursday morning.
And right now you're looking live inside St. Martin's Episcopal Church in Houston, Texas. So you can see there's a slow, steady stream of people paying their respects and saying goodbye to our 41st president, George H.W. Bush.
All night long, people are walking through the church and will continue to do so before his funeral takes place later on this morning. George H.W. Bush is lying in repose at the church where he arrived from Washington last night. The motorcade arrived just after 6 p.m., greeted by servicemen and women. A precise and poignant arrival ceremony at Bush's home church. Once inside, there was a prayer, and then the public was allowed in. The crowd has been diverse, young and old, different backgrounds. They shared what made the former president so special.
His approachability.
He was very humble, very caring, despite his position. It didn't matter who you were, how poor you were, how rich you were. He was just always there for you.
After today's service, a motorcade and a train will then take the casket to his final resting place in College Station. The former commander-in-chief will be laid to rest at his presidential library this afternoon. He'll be buried at a plot alongside his wife Barbara and their daughter Robin.
New developments overnight on a critical search and rescue mission underway off the coast of Japan. 5 U.S. Marines are still missing after a mid-air mishap involving a KC-130 refueling tanker and an FA-18 fighter jet. Search teams have found 1 Marine alive and another whose condition is unclear. ABC's Emily Rao tells us what went wrong.
Overnight, the search continuing for the 5 Marines still missing. The Marine Corps is calling it a mid-air mishap. It happened in the middle of the night in cloudy skies about 200 miles off the coast of Japan. The fighter jet may have been attempting an exercise like this one, the jet refueling from the KC-130. 2 Marines were in the FA-18, which does have ejection seats, and 5 more on board the refueler. The Japanese defense minister saying they're doing their best to find the 5 Marines still missing. Japanese forces already rescuing 2 Marines, 1 now stable at the hospital and a second whose condition is unclear.
U.S. and Japanese ships are involved in that search and rescue mission that is still going on right now, and already the U.S. Marine Corps is trying to figure out what went wrong. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
Another developing story now, a late-night accident in Sarasota involving a female motorcyclist. The accident happened in the northbound lanes of North Tamiami Trail about 10 o'clock last night. We do want to make a correction, though. Police say a female motorcyclist wasn't wearing a helmet and suffered life-threatening injuries, and she is currently being treated at the hospital. A portion of North Trail near Mecca Drive was closed for several hours while police investigated. Still no word what caused the crash or the victim's name. Tonight, Sebring International Raceway will honor a Sarasota woman who was killed while drag racing a few weeks ago. All tickets sold on the final day of their race season will benefit the family of Katarina Mahler. She was killed in a one-car crash on the track last month. A minimum donation of $5 will be collected at the door, and drag racers who take part will pay $20. A raffle will be held to benefit her family, featuring a custom-designed Power Wheels car.
One Suncoast man is making a big difference in the lives of motorcycle victims and their families. Josh Deal has started an organization called the Fallen Riders Foundation. It helps motorcyclists cover the costs of medical and other expenses following an accident. The foundation also helps families who are struggling financially after losing a loved one. Some of the money raised comes from donations from motorcycle shops throughout Florida.
We cover the entire state of Florida, so we typically would be stepping in for about 4 to 5 families a week to help out. So there is a desperate need for the help.
It's going to be a big help to everybody involved in motorcycling, because that's the whole aspect, is teach people what you should be doing safely.
For more information on the Fallen Riders Foundation, you can log on to our website, mysuncoast.com. A Manatee County funeral home director could face thousands of dollars in fines and probation after a state investigation wraps up. D. Allen Moore will learn his fate later today after a vote from the State Board of Funeral, Cemetery, and Consumer Services. 86 complaints have been filed against Moore, who owns D. Allen Moore Funeral Home in Ellington. Last year, other funeral directors accused Moore of not burying bodies deep enough, causing an awful smell in Adams and Rogers cemeteries in Manatee County. Then animals started digging up those bodies. Adams and Rogers cemeteries are 2 of the 3 abandoned cemeteries in Manatee County, which means no one owns the land or is in charge of maintaining that property.
We are hoping to find out more today about a fire at a produce market in Sarasota that sent one person to the hospital. Firefighters were called to Jessica's Organic Farm stand off 47th Street about 6 o'clock last night. A viewer sent us this video of the flames. It's not known where or how the fire began, but the investigation is ongoing. One person was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries.
Even though this happens fairly often, it's always nice when it does. Volunteer bell ringers working at the Salvation Army kettle at the Sam's Club store in Jefferson City, Missouri, got more than just change and a few dollars. Someone dropped a 1-ounce U.S. minted gold coin into the kettle. The volunteers didn't see who put the coin in there and didn't even learn about the special donation until the next day. The coin is worth about $1,300. And as a reminder, the Salvation Army in both Manatee and Sarasota counties are still taking donations for Christmas. You can pick up an angel tree list right here at ABC 7.
Nice surprise in that kettle.
Yeah,
wow.
Certainly. I wonder if the person knew it was worth that much when they dropped it in there.
I was thinking the same thing. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, an emotional return. Families sift through charred belongings after the so-called campfire devastated Paradise, California.
But first, a splash landing for SpaceX. Elon Musk explains what went wrong during liftoff at Cape Canaveral. Straight ahead.
6:08 right now on your chilly Thursday morning. Pretty shot there of the downtown skyline. It is cold out there, but John Scalzi, ever the optimist, he wants to tell you now about the beach forecast.
Absolutely. Why not? It's going to warm up today. In fact, over the next several days, it'll continue to warm up. So that's the good news. Also, we have an offshore wind flow, which is also very helpful in terms of the red tide issues. 68 degrees, I think, at the beaches this afternoon. Sunny and warmer. You want to take a walk during sunset? I think that'll be just fine. I'll give it 4 beach balls out of 4. It'll be warmer. Northeast wind coming in at about 10 with the sky mostly sunny. Your complete forecast coming up in a few.